Hi, everybody. So I got a request. Someone asked me to make a video of an unboxing of a new game so they could see the process. So I decided, okay, yeah, I'll do an unboxing. I'm going to do an unboxing of Good Morning Vietnam so you can see the whole process of it. And then once this unboxing is done, I'm going to show you behind the scenes of creating this game from burning the EPROM all the way up to it looking like this. So a quick unboxing of this game. Every one of our games comes in a shrink wrap package. And I'll remove the shrink wrapping to reveal the game. I probably should be filming this at my bench, but I'm doing it here at my desk. So I have to lift things up to show you. But we're going to do it. Open this up here. Remove the shrink wrapping. Put it on the floor because I don't have a trash can right in front of me. And we have a nice full color matte sleeve, which slides off like so. Then inside we have a plastic cartridge connector with a label on the bottom that tells you to visit 8-Bit Millie Games for manual and gameplay demos. Then we open up the cartridge, or open up the box, I should say. And inside we have a copy of Good Morning Vietnam. Nice, very well done. And now what I'll do is I'll close this back up. What I'll do is now we're going to, through the magic of video editing, we're going to go watch me create this thing. So we're going to go back in the past. Come with me. All right, so I'm standing here at the EPROM burner, which is a Windows 10 system that I use along with the Software XG Pro and a TO866-3G. And I'm going to burn a cartridge of Good Morning Vietnam on a 2732 EPROM. First thing I'll do is I will come up here and I select which one it is. In this case, it's the TMS, the one at the top. And then I will select which image I want to burn on it. These are 4K EPROMs that I'm burning right now, and Good Morning Vietnam is a 4K code, so I select it. Now I'm going to burn it to the EPROM. These old 2732s are hit and miss. It's like a 70% success rate. They fail with age. So if I get an error, I have to go to the next one. So let's try this, and hopefully it burns okay. Overcurrent protection. Normally that means I am not going to get it to work, but sometimes if I work it back and forth a little bit, get some of the tarnish or some of the corrosion off, it works. But that one didn't work. So this is basically going to be a deader. I will go to the next one. I have new ones coming in, hopefully don't have the same thing. This one has an O on it because it failed once before. And when ones fail, I take and I send them through the EPROM burn or the EPROM eraser, try them again, and if they fail a second time, they get trashed. And that one failed again. So this one is going to be trashed. And I will go in my box and I will get the next one out, and I have to mark the other one so that I know to erase that one. I'll go get the next one out of there and I'll try the next one. And this one looks like it's going to work. We'll mark this one with an O. I'll put it in my EPROM eraser just to be sure, but usually with overcurrent protection, when it fails on overcurrent protection, it's not going to come back. So that's how you burn an EPROM. Very simple. Like I said, on these old 2732s, I'm having issues with them. The newer ones, the 27C256 chips that I use for 32K EPROMs, they don't have any issues like that. But these old ones, they use a higher voltage. They need 21 volts to burn, so I need to get a new programmer instead of 18.5 like the other ones. But we was able to make it. And just, I don't know if anybody, the observant of you, looked when I was loading this in here. I have a version of Good Morning Vietnam 4x8, which is the 32K one, that I created that I can actually make this 4K ROM run on a 32K ROM with no issues. I've figured out how to wire around that. So, fallbacks. So we got that. We made our ROM. And now I'm going to move the camera and we're going to do some soldering. Alright, so now we're going to do some soldering. I have my bare PCB board here, and I have the 3 chips that go into a 4K ROM. We have the 2732 I just programmed. a capacitor, and a 74LS04 chip. First thing we got to do, because these are chips on both sides, is I have to put the 74LS04 on first because the pins get buried under this 2732. So the first thing I do is I straighten out my pins, make sure they're nice and straight. I take and I just put this one in here. And let me get my, where's my weeder? Got my weeder here, which is a hook that I can just use to maneuver them in. Now, because another chip's going to go on this side, I have to get those pins down. So what I do is I bend them over like so. Then I just take a metal ruler, flatten them down so that you can see that they're down. I've got a loose USB connection on that burner. I'm going to have to pop the thing open and fix it. So that's what we got there. Now I got that in there, and what I got to do is now I'm going to solder this in, and then these go on afterwards. I don't know if my iron is hot enough yet. Let's just see. Is it hot enough? No. So I'm going to pause this for a second, and then we'll pick back up when the iron's hot. Okay, so the soldering iron is now warmed up. Time to solder. Now I use rosin core solder, so I don't put a lot of flux or anything on here. I just use the flux that's built into the solder. I've been doing this now for 6 years, and I have not had any issues with it. Some people say, well, you should use a lot of flux. Well, you know what? I haven't, like I said, I haven't had any issues, and I have made thousands of cartridges. So I think my system still works. So now that we soldered that in, now we have to put the EPROM in. Make sure the legs are nice and evenly lined up. Put it so that the notch goes to the notch that's drawn on the silk screen. Yeah. Bend them a little more. I'll probably still have to use the hook to get them to go in. Sometimes they don't line up perfectly, and I got to take the hook and just tap them in a little bit. Most of the time I don't have these issues, except on these older chips. For some reason like this. See, now it went in there fine. I just had straight. Now what I do is I bend two of them around so that they don't come loose. Put my capacitor in, the hole where it goes in. When I gotta spread the legs out in the capacitor a little bit to fit in this hole because it's a wide hole. It's almost like it was a resistor style, but it's for the capacitor. Like so. Now I'm just going to solder in the legs. I normally don't do one board at a time. I normally do 20 or so at a time or more. But for this, I'm going to show you one. Alright, so we're just going to make sure we got all the pins correctly, and we did. Then I take my little cutters and I cut off the extra leg that's on here. I do it over the trash so that it goes on the floor. And now I'm going to stop the camera and I'm going to set up for the next part. Okay, next step is I'm going to assemble the cartridge. I will test this after I assemble the cartridge. First thing you do, these are recycled cartridges where I take an older game and I remove the labels, clean them up. It's probably the best way to get new life out of old games instead of throwing them away. This part goes in here. We take our little, let's do this the correct way. We take our spring. The trick to get the spring in is to take and put your finger, see that hole right there? Put your fingernail in that hole just to fill it in so that the spring doesn't go down in it. Then I take that, put that there. I take and I bend up the spring to catch, like so. Then this goes in so that it's ROM down, like that. Push on the back end here and lock it in. Then I take this and I push that down there. And we do the screw. And that's how you assemble a cartridge. And I'm going to pause this. I'm going to turn the camera, and we're going to look at it getting tested. All right, so now we're going to test the system. I got my Atari 2600. This is my test system here. It's not anything great to look at, but this is what I test every game with. Every game I assemble gets tested to make sure it works. Even though we verified when we were burning the EPROMs that the EPROM worked, I want to verify that the game actually works. I'm not going to ship out a game that doesn't turn on. So plug it in, and she turns on. So we now know she works. Maybe 1 out of every 20 games doesn't want to turn on. I have to open it up and I go in and I look at it. And sometimes I have a bad solder joint. Sometimes I just need to clean the connector. Sometimes it's just, for whatever reason, just failed. It passed everything and failed. But I try not to let any game go out the door that doesn't work. So now we're going to move the camera again, and I'm going to show you how we do the boxing. All right, so here I got some labels and some top labels here. As I mentioned in the previous video, I get my labels printed up on cardstock, Walmart cardstock. They're very nice, very strong. They look very good. And this one right here I've already cut, but normally what I do is I cut them all out, and then I got to get this out of here. Then I trim the corners with a round over. But I got to still do the top label here, so let me just cut that one off. If I'm doing multiples, like 10, 20 cartridges, I'll get the guillotine out and use it to trim things off, but since I'm only doing one, I'll just do it by hand. Put those in there. They go back in my box that I have all my other labels in. Trim off the extra here. Come on. Then I take the round over, the corner rounder, and I just round off the edges. Done with that, this is what I use to stick the labels, crap on, and I gotta get some more, stick the labels to the cartridges. Remove this up here, put my label down. I need to get a better, like a laminated table for this, not this, because this is starting to get a little sticky in spots. So what I do is I do that. Put a little coat on there. Take my cartridge. Apply my label. Take my top label. Apply that there, and the cartridge is now assembled. And this glue is very sticky. But if you ever get too much of it on you, acetone gets it off. I learned that the hard way. All right, now put this back on here, and one of these days this is going to stick and not come off. Oh, it's the other way. Hang on, I forgot. Normally I put a little Windex down there, and that might be why this thing's falling apart too, or coming apart. I put a little Windex down there just to slow down the stickiness so I don't glue my pad to the table. So now that cartridge is ready to be boxed. I keep reaching behind me because everything I have is on a shelf behind me. Now what I do is I take, this is a cartridge protector. I get these on eBay. I remove the plastic external cover. Open the box up, or open the protector up. Make a nice little plastic box. Take the cartridge, put it inside there. Close the box up. Take my labels. The label says visit 8-Bit Millie Games for manual and gameplay, and I put that on the bottom. Now that is done. And now I'm going to pause this for a moment, and then we'll get the sleeve artwork. Okay, so now I got the sleeve artwork again. As you can see, I get a lot of them done up by Walmart. I need to get a cover, and I need a back. These are all the various games in here that we have. Have multiple bags of these for all the different games ready to go. And if I need more, I just send it to my local Walmart, and I'll pick them up on the way home at the end of the day. Now then what I do is I take these, and using the guillotine, I trim off the excess. And every time I trim off the excess, I get very paranoid about this very sharp blade. That's done. Now I take my creaser, my boner, as I call it, jokingly, because this is a bone tool. I put this on here a certain way. I got it marked up here where I want to do it. And I crease there, fold it, and I do the same with the other one. Crease on the back, not on the front. If you crease on the photo, it tears the, on the printed side, it tears the photo. Crease on the back, it doesn't. Again, things I've learned over the years. Then I take double-sided tape. Now this is fascinating. You can buy double-sided tape. I get this double-sided tape in rolls. Like here's an unusual. Nice large rolls. I get them at Dollar Tree. At Dollar Tree they sell, I don't think I have one here. No, I don't have one here. They sell window plastic, storm window plastic. For now it's $1.25, used to be $1. And it's a big sheet of plastic and it comes with a roll of this. I bought it for my house to use on different windows, and I always had extra. And then I started using this. I realized, so now I go to Dollar Tree and I'll buy 5 or 6 of these at a time every few months, and I just use it for that. It's a very cheap way of getting very good double-sided tape. So I apply it to this under flap. Each side has a flap that goes under, then a flap that goes out. I apply it to the under flap, use my weeder. This is called a weeder because it's from the Cricut machine, and you weed the plastic that you trim. So I use my weeder. I remove that there. I take this flap here and put it on. Then I do the same here. And see what I've done is I have made a full-size sleeve out of 2 4x6 half sleeves. So this right here costs 16 cents to have it printed before you do any work to it. Then I fold the creases, stiffen the creases nicely. Then you insert the game into the sleeve. Then the next step we're going to do is we're going to seal it. I'm going to pause this for a second, then we'll turn that back on. Okay, so now we're going to shrink wrap it. I have cellophane bags. I can do 2 games per bag. 2 of the budget style, 1 of the full-size boxes. I put it on my sealer. Got to do 2 clicks the first time because it warms it up. Save this bag for another game. Remove the excess of that. Push this out of the way for a moment. Then I take the heat gun right here. Not too hot, 5 to 6. And I just seal it up. And there we go. A nice finished game. And then, like I said, I usually do 20 to 30 at a time. So I'll spend all day doing this. I'll spend hours soldering, hours boxing, hours sealing, and everything. But I just wanted to show you, this is one game. And there you have it. I showed you an unboxing of a great game, Good Morning Vietnam, and which will be played soon on the channel here, and showed you how it's created. To order that game and many other Oleani games or 8-Bit Millie games or any other game that we carry, visit the website 8bitmillygames.com. Have a great day. Oh, be sure to like and subscribe, as they always say. Click the notification bell to be notified, and all the other good stuff. Have a great day.